Hello everyone, hope you're doing great, quite occupied in watching your TSAT classes, working on your OAKS app and doing your summer samurai projects. In fact, I feel you students are much busier than we teachers because you're doing so much of work the whole day. I really appreciate your studiousness. Keep it up, students. So, before we get into our topic, I would like you to read a poem along with me. The poem, The Boy Who Boasted. John Brager was born with a very big head. It grew bigger and bigger with all that he said. He boasted, "I am braver, I am better than you." He boasted so much that his face became blue, and he almost arrived at a premature death. And from boasting so much, he ran out of breath. "I'm the fastest," he boasted, "at running in school," but everyone knew he wasn't at all. "I'm the quickest at sums," he continued. "I am bright." He was quickest, but none of his answers were right. "I am the loudest at singing." We won't deny that, but he sang worse even than a caretaker's cat. At most things in school, in fact, John was the worst, but his head grew big at that we thought it would burst. He carried on boasting about his success. "I'm the best playing football. I'm brilliant at chess." His brain was no bigger, I would say, than a prune, but his head was the size of a hot air balloon. We thought it might happen, and it did so one day. He boasted so much that he floated away. So, this is the poem. I hope you understood. I'll give you the gist of the poem. The poem actually entails the consequences a boy faces because of boasting so much. Yes, the boy named John Brager was into a habit of bragging so much. Now, what do you mean by boasting? Boasting or bragging? It's a habit of talking too much about oneself, talking that you are great in doing this and doing that. So John was obsessed with the habit of boasting all the time, and with that habit of boasting, his head began to start growing, and it grew bigger and bigger every time he said something great about himself. But the fact was that none of his teachers or students or his friends appreciated him because they all knew that John was not as great as he said. And what was the consequence? But none of his classmates or teachers appreciated John because they all knew that he was not as great as he thought of himself. And eventually, due to his incorrigible habit of boasting so much, his head became bigger and bigger, and it grew to the size of a hot air balloon. Have you ever seen a hot air balloon, which, colorful balloon which flies in the sky, isn't it? So his head grew big as a hot air balloon, and finally one day he started flowing high in the sky and got vanished. So it's not a real story, but there's a real message in this. What's that? That we should not be so boastful. We should be proud of our capacities, but the pride should not get into our head. It should not make us, headstrong. What happens otherwise? You have seen, like John, we would also, face consequences. Like John got vanished, nobody bothered to know what happened to him, isn't it? He became an oblivion. Oblivion, what do you mean by oblivion? It's a state of being forgotten. Suppose you don't go to school for one day. What happens? Your friends, and when you go to school the next day, your friends and your teachers ask, "What happened? Why didn't you come yesterday?" So that shows they are concerned. They were missing you in your absence. But when John got vanished, nobody bothered to know about him because he was so irritating with his endless bragging. So that is what we learn from the story. Now, look at the words John has used in boasting about himself. The words are like brilliant and bright, bigger, okay, fastest. Okay, these are the words John Brager had used to talk about himself so boastfully. What are these words? Also, there are some other words like big, bigger, worse, worst. Now, what are these words? These words are adjectives. If you recall my previous class on parts of speech, we have learned in adjectives that adjectives are the words which describe something about a noun. So, noun here is John, and all these words are used by John to describe himself, I mean to speak about himself, and the poem also uses these, the writer also uses these words to speak about John. So, adjectives are the words that describe something about noun. Now, why there are different forms of these words? Big, bigger. Now, big means yes, it's big in size. Then why do we use bigger or biggest? Worse. Actually, the main word is bad. The next word to bad is worse, and then the highest word is worst. Why do we use the different forms of adjectives? It's to compare. Yes, that is what we are going to do in our today's topic, that is degrees of comparison. Now, why do we need to compare? Why do we need the adjectives to be compared? Well, the need of adjectives. Take a situation of a classroom where there are three students, A, B, and C. Now, the teacher is observing the score of the three students. A scores 70%. So, the teacher says A is very smart. Then B scores 80%. The teacher says, yes, B is very smart. Then C scores 90%. Even then, the teacher says, yes, C is very smart. Do you think it is fair to compare all the three students in the same degree when A has scored 70? Okay, he's very smart. But what about B? He scored more. And then C, he has scored the highest of all. So, there we need the degrees of comparison. The students, like, they have scored, but what about C? He has scored the highest, so he needs an extra appreciation for his extra effort. So, there we used the words, the teacher should use the words like smart, smarter, smartest. Now, is it justified? Yes. A is smart, he scored 70%. B had scored more, so he is smarter than A. And then C, out of the three students, he had scored the highest. So, he is the smartest. Then it is justified. So, this is what we are learning. The smart, we are talking about the 3 degrees in comparison: positive degree, comparative degree, and superlative. So, positive degree, as we can see in the slide, is mere existence of a quality in a noun. We use positive degree to talk about a quality which is available in a noun, in a person. Like if you see Ajay is tall. So, we are talking about Ajay's height. He is tall. So, we are talking something positive about him, about his height, that he is tall. If you say Joy, if we say Ajay is happy, so we are talking about something positive about his emotion. Yes, he is in a happy mood. It's his emotion. Ajay is an honest boy. So, honest is his character. So, here we are talking about a positive quality in Ajay, isn't it? So, the positive degree is used to talk about a quality present in that person or that thing. Now, when do we use comparative? When we are comparing. And comparison is always between two. So, when we use comparative degree, we compare the two subjects. So, here look at the picture, Vijay. Vijay is looking little taller, isn't it? Vijay is taller than Ajay. Is it not true? Vijay is taller than Ajay. When you compare the two subjects, Ajay and Vijay, who looks taller? Yes, it's Vijay. Then, when do we use superlative degree? Superlative degree is the highest degree of comparison. There's nothing above the superlative degree. So here, out of the three characters in this picture, who looks the tallest? It's Rajesh. So Rajesh is the tallest of all. Yes? So Rajesh is the tallest of all. So we used tall, taller, tallest. Now you see the variation in the spelling here. To make the positive into comparative, we add ER. ER. And then we add EST to make the superlative degree. So this is the spelling rule where the degrees are changing, the spelling is changing this way. So this is your degrees of comparison. Now let us look at some amazing facts about our planet Earth. Okay? Which is the longest river? I think you know, it's the Nile. The Nile is the longest river, and where is it? It is in Egypt. Which is the largest forest? Is the Amazon rainforest. You know, Amazon rainforest is the biggest forest, and it supplies maximum of oxygen to the whole world. Okay, and it is in America, South America. And the biggest desert, which is the biggest desert? It is the Sahara Desert, which is located in South Africa. And then the highest mountain, it's in India. Yes, we are the proud country. In our country is the Mount Everest. It protects us from the enemies and the cold winds. It's really great, right? And the largest continent, it's Asia. So our country, India, is located in Asia. So all these are, what have we used to describe all the superlative, all the, amazing facts about our different places in the world? That is superlative degree. Yes, the longest river, the largest forest, the biggest desert, the highest mountain, and the largest continent. Okay, these are the things we usually learn in our social sciences, right? Now let us come to some amazing facts about animal kingdom. The biggest land animal, it's elephant. The biggest water animal is the blue whale. And the smallest bird, the hummingbird. It's very pretty, isn't it? Then the fastest land animal is cheetah. And the slowest land animal is sloth. Sloth is known to be a very lazy animal. If you see a person very lazy, what do you say? You are as lazy as a sloth. Yes? So that is the comparison we use. It's a simile. So you can see again the superlatives used here: biggest, smallest, fastest, and slowest. So this is how we use degrees of comparison in our context in our daily life. And these facts you must have learned in your general sciences about the animals. Okay. Now, as we have seen the 3 degrees of comparison, the heights we have compared of Ajay, Vijay, and Rajesh. Let us have a broader look of comparison through this table. Now, there are 3 characters in this picture. The names are Ted, Joy, and Bob. The age particular, what are the details given here? It's given about their age, their height, and their weight. So we are going to compare their physical structure. How do we do that? We are looking at the age. How do we measure age of a person? In years. So here Ted is 13 years old, Joy 15 years, and Bob 17 years. So how do we compare about their age? Ted is the smallest, or we can say youngest. Ted is the youngest of all. Or you can say Ted is younger than Joy. Then Boy. Boy is the eldest. Okay. We can say that Joy is younger to Bob, isn't it? So this is how we compared the age. Now look at the height. How do we measure height? In centimeters or inches. So here it is given in centimeters. Ted is 153 centimeters and Joy is 166 centimeters and Bob, as you see, is 175 centimeters. So who is the shortest? Yes, Ted is the shortest of all. So which degree is this? Yes, the moment you see EST and it is superlative. The same sentence we can write, Ted is shorter than Joy. Which degree is this? It is comparative. Yes, again we see the degrees here. Then Bob is the tallest. Look at the weight here. Ted is 40 kilograms, 40 kgs, and Joy weighs 46 kgs, and Bob weighs 67. So who is the heaviest? It's Bob. Bob is the heaviest. You can look at his figure. He's quite stout. Okay, and then Joy appears to be quite of moderate weight. You know, his height and weight is quite appropriate, and Ted looks quite thin, lean, and shorter. So this is how we come to learn, learn about their physical features by comparing. Yes, Ted is the lightest in the weight, and then Joy is heavier than Ted, or we can say is lighter than Bob. Bob is the heaviest of all. So not only the degrees, we also come to know about their, health and fitness. Who appears to be quite healthy, quite fit in health? It's Joy, because his age and according to his age, his height and weight are appropriate. He's quite balanced at his physique. But when you look at Bob, he looks quite obese. He's stout. He's little fat. Perhaps he is having excess of nutrition, maybe eating lot of junk foods, oily food, which is not at all good for health. He may not be having lot of physical exercise, isn't it? But Joy seems to be having good balanced nutrition and must be doing lot of physical exercise. But when you look into Ted, he looks very thin, short. Perhaps he is not having enough nutrition. So from this we should learn that yes, we should have proper balanced diet and good physical structure to keep our body healthy and fit. Fine. So we have used the degrees of comparison to compare the three. So this is a broader look of the degrees in comparison. Now look at a few objects, degrees of comparison. The scale, we use long scale, right? We always, our teacher always tells us to draw lines, proper neat lines, use long scale to draw your mathematical diagrams and all that. And also it's useful in every subject. We should draw a line on every page in your notebooks, isn't it? That makes your work look very neat and presentable. So a long scale, but longer is the rope. The rope is longer than a scale. And when you look at the road is even, longest of all, longest. Look at the penguin, it is small, but smaller than a penguin is the crab. And then the smallest of all is the ant, tiny, the tiny ant. Ant is known for its hard work, okay. Though it is tiny, it's very hardworking. We should learn the quality of hard work from the ants, yes. The next one you see, it's big. A pig, which is quite big, but bigger than a pig is an elephant. Elephant is bigger in size, but again if you look at the dinosaur, it is the biggest. Of course they are not there now, but yes, the dinosaurs were the biggest of all. Now look at the score there. We always, we get your test score and we show to your parents. When you show a B grade, they say, okay, good, you have done good, fine. But if you get a B plus, they'll be happy. They say, yes, you have done better. But if you get A, they say, yes, you have done the best. Very good. Keep it up. So we all want to get A grades, isn't it? We all strive for an A grade. I hope you all get that. Okay. The next you look at hot. Coffee is hot. We like to drink hot coffee, hot milk, isn't it? But can you put your hand in the fire? No. Why? Because it is hotter. You cannot. So Fire is hotter than a hot coffee. But what about the sun? It is the hottest. Can you ever imagine to look straight into the sky and stare at the sun? No, you can never, because it's very, very hot. So the hottest of all is the sun, right? Then the ice cream. We all like ice creams, right? Cold ice cream. And colder than an ice cream is ice. If you look at the melting point of ice and ice cream, the ice cream will melt sooner than the ice. So ice is cooler. But if you take the snow on the mountains, it is the coolest. We can't imagine to survive in a very, very cold atmosphere which is there on the snowy mountains. Okay. Then you look at the tortoise here. It is slow. Tortoise is known to be a very slow creature. It walks very slowly, isn't it? But slower than that, the tortoise is the caterpillar. It creeps very slowly. And what about the snail? It creeps even more, even slower than the caterpillar. So hence it is known as the slowest creature, the snail. Then look at the score again. If you get 40% out of 100, well, that's not a good score. I feel it's bad. But if you get 20%, it's worse. And if it is a 0, my goodness, it's the worst. So we should never get such low scores. I always wish. Okay. So these are the objects you have seen in the degrees of comparison. We observe a lot of things around us which are in different sizes, isn't it? Different qualities, the different adjectives. Now, what are the spelling rules? How do we make the degrees of comparison? That's what we have learned to make the positive degree. If it is young, we just add ER and make it comparative degree, and then youngest by adding EST. Okay, so this is the rule which you use to change the degrees of comparison of the adjectives. Now there are certain words which have certain rules, like big. If you look at the spelling of big, it is one consonant, one vowel, and again a consonant. So the words which have one consonant and one vowel how will we change the spelling of these words? We just double the last consonant. Bigger. We double the last consonant because it is one vowel and one consonant. If you find such words which end with one vowel and one consonant, we simply have to double the last consonant, and then we get bigger, the spelling. So bigger and then biggest. Fine. Then similarly, if you look at the other spellings, fat, fatter, fattest. Again, doubling of the last consonant. Hot, hotter, hottest. Thin, thinner, thinnest. Thin. Last two letters, if you see, there's one vowel and there's one consonant. So we double it and then we get thinner, thinnest. Very important to know the spelling, correct spelling. You know the right degree, like the comparative degree of thin is thinner. But if you do not write the correct spelling, if you write thinner this way, is it the correct spelling? No. Hence, we need to know. Most often what happens is our ideas are very correct. We try to present our ideas in a very accurate way. But sometimes because of, little mistakes in the spellings, it is conveyed in a wrong way. It may lead to mistakes. Similarly, the other words, if you look at sad, sadder, saddest. So this is the rule we follow with the words ending with one vowel and one consonant. The next word, the words which end with Y. The word is ending with Y. What do we do? Yes, as I told you, you would add ER and EST. But straight away, no. You have to replace this Y with I. You cannot just write HAPPY and add ER. It's wrong. It is HAPPIER. Y has to be replaced with I. And then happiest. Got that? Very simple. All the words ending with, all the adjectives ending with Y, you must remember that yes, Y has to go and I has to come. And that is what we get the correct spelling. Look at the other words in the slide. Busy, busier, busiest. Heavy, heavier, heaviest. The same spelling rule is applied. Very simple, very simple way of remembering to avoid the spelling mistakes. Fine. Then, there are a few words for which we cannot add simply ER and EST to change their forms. Why? What is the reason? Now, if I say cat, good, good. These are certain words where the change of degree is not regular, good, better, best. We are not doing anything to the spelling, we are just changing the words. So, these are known as certain irregular adjectives, like the same spelling is not used to change. Good, better, best, bad, worse, worst. So, there are certain irregular adjectives. These are the irregular fashion of changing the adjectives into when we change the degrees of comparison, spelling is changing this way. But there are few words. Now, if I say short, it's simple, shorter and shortest. You say shortest. It's very easy to add ER and EST and change their degrees. But there are certain words which have more than one syllable. Syllable, what do you mean by a syllable? Syllable is nothing but a combination of vowels and consonant producing a vowel sound. Now, if you look at the word short, how many vowel sounds are you able to hear? Short. Oh, it's only one sound. So, it has only one syllable. Okay. Syllable is a break off of a word into the number of sounds of vowel it produces. So, here in this word we have only one syllable because the sound of a vowel we hear is only one, that is O, short. Okay. There are a few words like beautiful, careful. Now, how many syllables are there in this word? Beautiful. There are 3 syllables. Why? Because we get to hear 3 sounds of vowel. Beautiful. 3. So, there are 3 syllables. Then careful. Careful, there are 2 sounds we get to hear. A, U. Careful. So, there are 2 syllables. So, for such words, we cannot add ER or EST. It doesn't sound correct. Can you say beautifuler, beautifulest? Oh, it sounds so awkward, isn't it? So, it's wrong. So, hence, we cannot add ER and EST to the words which have 2 or more syllables. So, what do we do then? We have to show the degrees, right? So, what do? We write beautiful, more beautiful, most beautiful. So, what are the words we had used to change the degrees? We have used more and most. So, for the words which have more than 2 syllables or 2 syllables, we use more and most. Similarly, if you look at the other words in the slide, interesting, interesting, 3. So, more interesting, most interesting. Courageous, more courageous, most courageous. Hardworking, more hardworking, most hardworking. So, these are the words which we cannot add ER or EST. We just take more and most, and thus we show the comparison. Now, let us look at the sentences with these degrees of comparison. Now, you see the 2 girls there holding their report cards, okay, and one girl has A plus in her report card and the other one has B plus. So, how do we go to compare about them? Now, their names are Dolly and Priya. So, you see the first one, Dolly has got A plus and Priya has got B plus. Now you see, if you look at their smartness, who appears to be smarter? Yes, it is Dolly who is smarter. She is smarter, but smarter than whom? Than Priya, because she has got a better grade than Priya. So she is just smart. Okay, so this is the degree we are using to compare. So how do we make these sentences? If you look at the slide, Dolly is smarter than Priya. And when we talk about Priya, what do we say? Dolly is smarter than Priya. Smarter than. And then smarter, the word compare, when we use the comparative degree, it is always followed by a word called than. Okay, the moment you see than, you should identify it is a comparative degree. Of course, the suffix is also there, er, but always the comparative degree is followed with than. Okay, so Dolly is smarter than Priya. Now what about Priya? If the same sentence we have to convey without making any change in the meaning, we just transform into a positive degree. This is comparative degree. This sentence is a comparative degree. We have used smarter, so smarter is a comparative degree. But the same sentence without changing the meaning, if we have to write in positive degree, what do we do? Now we begin with Priya. We answer a simple question. Is Priya as smart as Dolly? Is it yes or no? No. So Priya is not as smart as Dolly. Yes. So without changing the meaning, I have changed its degree from comparative to positive, isn't it? Priya is not as smart as Dolly. There's one more thing you have to observe here. Now this sentence, Dolly is smarter than Priya. Is there any negative word in this sentence? No, not, nothing. What are the negative words? No, not, nothing. Okay, none. But do we find any such word? No. So when a sentence doesn't have a negative word, it is called an affirmative sentence. What is it called? An affirmative sentence. That is, it's a positive sentence. When a sentence has a negative word, it's called a negative sentence. So what is this sentence? Priya is not as smart as Dolly. Does it have a negative word? Not? Yes. Hence, it is a negative sentence. It's a negative sentence. One simple hint to check your accuracy in changing the degrees of comparison is to check whether your answer is right or not. If the comparative degree is in affirmative case, that is a positive sentence, no negative word here, right? Then if you change it into positive degree, here it is plus, here it becomes minus. Minus in the sense you use a negative word. This is how you can check your accuracy when you transform the sentence. See, most of us answer the questions and we feel that yes, we have done it correct. But how to check? Until we get to know our marks from our teachers, we don't know that it is correct. But before before your paper goes to your teacher and before you submit it, you can know that whether your answer is correct or not. So this small hint will help you. If the comparative degree has a affirmative sentence, that is a positive sentence, then the positive degree will have a negative sentence. Dolly is smarter, but Priya is not as smart as Dolly. Right? This is the structure. The next, the second type of comparison. You look at the picture, there are two beautiful girls in the picture, Julie and Shirley. Aren't they beautiful? Yes, they look very beautiful. Now, if I ask you, who looks more beautiful? Can you tell? Maybe it's difficult, you cannot. So what would you say? Well, Julie is not more beautiful than Shirley. Isn't it? We cannot, say that one is more beautiful, the other one is not. No, they both look beautiful in their own way, in their own appearances. So, Julie is not beautiful, more beautiful than Shirley. So, which degree is there? More beautiful. So, it is again comparative degree. Fine. Again the same sentence, if we have to change it into positive degree, what do? We start with Shirley. Now, what do we say? Shirley is not as beautiful as Julie, is it? No, Shirley is as beautiful as Julie. They both are equally beautiful. Is as beautiful as Julie. So, this is positive degree. Without changing the meaning of the sentence, I have changed its degree. That is what we supposed to do when we change the degrees of comparison. Here, there is no possibility of superlative degree because we are comparing between two subjects, Julie and Shirley. There are only two subjects. So, we can use positive and comparative degree to compare. Similarly, as we have observed in the previous slide, now which type of sentence it is? Look at this word not. What type of sentence? Is it negative or positive? It's a negative sentence. Fine. So, as I told you in the previous slide, if the comparative degree is positive, the positive degree will be negative. But here it is vice versa. The comparative degree has a negative word, that is a negative sentence. Now, the positive degree will be an affirmative, that is plus. So, can you check? The question is in negative, the answer will be in positive for degrees of comparison. When we are comparing two objects or two subjects, what is the comparison? The comparative degree is in negative sense and the positive degree is in affirmative case, that is a positive sentence. So, this is how you could check the accuracy of the sentence. Okay. Then next one, transformation of degrees of comparison when the subjects are more than two. For two subjects we have just seen, there is positive and comparative. But when the subjects are more than two, what do we use? We use superlative degree, this one. So, look at the slide here. We start with the superlative degree. Diamond is the hardest substance. The scintillating diamond, can you see in the picture? It is very, very hard. No other tool can break it, or we cannot break it except the diamond. A diamond can only cut the diamond. So, here diamond is the hardest substance. This is the hardest is the superlative degree. Now, the same sentence without changing the meaning, if we change it into comparative degree, what do we use? Diamond is harder than any other substance. Harder than any other substance. So, if you compare diamond with any other substance in the world, it stands harder. So, when we use the comparative degree, what do we say? Diamond is harder than any other substance in the world. You take any other substance, compare the hardness, it's again diamond. Okay. Now, when you write the same sentence in positive degree, you answer this question. Is there any other substance which is as hard as diamond? Well, your answer will be no. So, yes, the sentence will begin with no. No other substance is as hard as diamond. That is what is in the slide. No other substance is as hard as diamond. So, the three sentence in 3 degrees without changing the meaning. In every sentence the meaning is the same. So, this is how we see the type 3 to make the superlative degree, because diamond is being compared to all the other hard substances and it stands the highest, the superlative degree. That is how we had, that is what we had seen in the slides first, the smallest animal, the biggest land animal, the largest continent, isn't it? That is the superlative degree we use to talk about certain things which have the highest degree. the extreme degree of comparison. Okay. Yes. Now, this is the fourth one. Before getting into this, before understanding the structure, I would like to explain, I would like to tell you a small story. Okay. A story about Susie. Okay. Susie was a girl, quite reserved. She would not talk to her friends. She was quite reserved. She would not talk to her friends, her teacher. Perhaps, all the students thought perhaps she is quite a dull student. She is not good at academics, and so she is quite, reserved all the time, and she doesn't talk to anyone. Because she is not confident of herself. Perhaps she has inferiority complex. Okay, this is a situation of Susie, and there's another girl, Masha. Well, she is the center of attraction. You know why? Because her name is always on the tongue of her class teacher. Because she is an all-rounder. She is very good at her academics. She is a brilliant student, a graceful dancer, and a melodious singer. And that's the reason the teacher has called, has always called her the best student of my class. And then soon this, Masha has become very popular. She is very popular in all the aspects, and hence she is called the best. But soon this popularity got into her head, and she became quite arrogant and headstrong. She stopped respecting teachers. She stopped being good to her friends. She started flaunting. You remember this poem, John Braggart, how he flaunted that I am fastest, I am quickest, and all that. So here, this girl also started flaunting and demeaning her friends, especially Susie. Susie, who is a very reserved girl, a very quiet and calm girl. So this has become a habit of Masha, and people, the students have started avoiding her because she is always flaunting. One day suddenly what happened is, Susie happened to hit herself to a bench, and she had a bunch of papers, and all the papers fell down. Then when people came, when her friends came to help her out, they saw that in the papers there were beautiful paintings, and the paintings were drawn by Susie. So now came the fact that Susie was a very, beautiful artist. She made beautiful paintings. Quickly, these students took the paintings to their class teacher, and the teacher was also quite surprised. Oh, wow, what a lovely paintings, Susie. I never knew that you are such good at painting, good at drawing. And soon, many other facts about her came into light. What was that? That she was also a brilliant student. She was also very good at academics. She was a beautiful singer. She had a beautiful, she had got grace in her dance. And thus, not only Susie, the only thing her talent couldn't come out, she couldn't feel special about her qualities, was because Masha was already the best. Teacher's focus was always on Masha, and she was regarded the best. It was not Susie alone who suffered in silence. There were many other girls or many other students who were good at many other things, but they could not come up to the title the best because it was earned already by Masha. Now, where's the fault? It was her teacher's addressing. Okay. The teacher had always considered her the best. Now the teacher realized what a mistake I had done. I have ignored her. I have ignored all the students' creativity by just focusing on this girl, Masha. No, it was wrong. And since then, she changed her way of addressing her students, and she started saying that each one of you is one of the best in my class. Like, everyone has got their own quality or have their own capacity. The thing is, because it was not shown, because it was not identified, they felt that, oh, they are not so great. But yes, it was teacher's realization that brought all the students into a limelight. So here you have heard the phrase, one of the best. If I say the best, it's only one. If I say best, it's only one. But if I say one of the best, that means there are many other Among them, we are talking about one. When we talk in this way, when we use this phrase one of the best, it is not going to hurt the others. Like it happened to Susie, because Masha was considered the best. She never felt that she is special. She never realized that she was good at so many things, just because of this title. But if you said one of the best, okay, ma'am is saying she is one of the best. So the others, among others, even I am there. So that gives her a confidence, isn't it? So that is what we observe in this slide. Keats was one of the greatest poets in English. Now, John Keats was one of the greatest poets in English. He wrote beautiful poetries. But if I say he was the best, then what about William Shakespeare, William Wordsworth, Robert Frost? Were they not great? Rabindranath Tagore, Sarojini Naidu, were they not great poets? Isn't it? So it's so wrong to consider only one person as the greatest. So when we say one of the best, then we consider all the other poets like Shakespeare, William Wordsworth, Robert Frost, Rabindranath Tagore. All of them are also greater. They are also greatest. One amongst them is Keats. So this is how we use one of the best poets in English. Keats was one of the best poets in English. Now the same thing if we write in comparative degree, greater than many other. Look at the difference in the structure. In the previous one, when I said the best, it was better than any other, right? The best, when you use comparative degree, it is better than any other, means you compare with anybody, he is the better, he is only the better one. But if you take in this case, one of the best, greater than many other, not all, okay, not all, you did not compare with everybody and decide that he is greater. There are many other and he stands above all of them. There are still few, among them he is one of the best. Now when you write positive degree, what do we write? Very few are as great as. That's what is in the positive degree. Very few poets in English were as great as Keats. Very few. Now, who all are there in very few? Yes, as I told, William Shakespeare, Robert Frost, Rabindranath Tagore, all these great poets will come under this very few. So will they feel offended? Never. Because they know, yes, they are also in that lot who are great. Similarly, if it was in the previous case, the best and better than any other, then it is no other. No other as good as. Can we use this here? No. It will make a complete difference. It may give rise to a what you call controversy. If I say Sachin Tendulkar is the greatest player in the world, what about the other players in the cricket? There are many other great players, right? Dhoni and many other, Harbhajan. There are many great players. But if I say Sachin is the greatest, will it not give rise to a controversy? Yes. Sachin is one of the best cricketer. Sachin is greater than many other, or very few players are as great as Sachin. If we say in this way, there will not be any kind of controversy or any kind of inferiority complex to anybody. So that is why we use one of the greatest, one of the best in our reference of degrees of comparison. So these are the three degrees of comparison. We have what we have learned in the spellings. We have learned the spelling rules. Okay, the words ending with one vowel and one consonant. How do we change them? By doubling the last consonant, and we get the spelling big, bigger, biggest. Then we have the words ending with Y, to which we replace Y and we add I-ER. Okay, and then IEST. And then the words which have two or more syllables, what do? We add more and most to change their degrees from positive to comparative and superlative. Then we have seen the sentences type 1, the comparison between two subjects when it is the comparative degree has a positive sentence, the positive degree will have a negative sentence. As we see, Priya is not as smart as Dolly, it's a negative sentence. In type 2, we have seen again the comparison between two subjects where the comparative degree is in negative sentence. It's a negative sentence. So obviously the vice versa is that Shirley is as beautiful, that is positive degree has a positive sentence. Then we have seen the third type, diamond is the hardest. The hardest is the superlative, and the positive, the comparative is harder than any other, and then positive degrees, no other is as hard as. And this is the last one. Keats was one of the greatest. Comparative degree is greater than many other, and in positive degree, very few as great as. Very few poets in English were as great as John Keats. Okay? Yes. Now, the last task, Eureka, your first task. I know the previous task you must have started on parts of speech, making beautiful posters and compiling your own handbook of parts of speech, adding the information. I'm sure you're going to have your perfect handbook for your reference in grammar. Okay, so this is your Eureka today's topic task. First task is observe the things around you and write 10 sentences using the degrees of comparison. You have seen the different types of degrees of comparison, what kind of words we have used, what are the structures. So use those structures in writing 10 sentences, observing the things around you. And the second one is, you would enjoy this, write 5 sentences about yourself using the degrees of comparison again. Like, for example, I have given, I am the youngest in my family. I am good at drawing. So youngest is which degree? It's superlative degree. I am good at drawing. Good is a positive degree. My sister is better at cooking. Better. My sister is better than me in cooking. So better is again a comparative. So like this you can compare yourself with your family members or your friends or anybody, and you can write 5 sentences. So that is your project. I hope you all enjoy the project, and it's a very small work. You can do it. Thank you.